This week's sponsor is Anchor.fm. In our experience as podcasters, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great, and they'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. If you're interested in monetizing your podcast, Anchor sets you up with sponsors with no minimum listenership. What could be easier than that? Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. The Chains of Reason podcast, where we link the chains of reason that affects our daily lives in society and culture, including, but not limited to, sports and politics.
Welcome back to the Chains of Reason podcast. I'm your host, DJ Grand. I'm here with my brother Jerry, as always, and our trusty producer, Ryan.
Hello.
And we're going to stick into the sports theme for at least one more podcast here. And this time we're going to talk about the Major League cheating scandal. I'll read an article that's from Yahoo Finance. Finance, not sports, but finance did this.
Really?
Yes. Major League Commissioner Rob Manfred issues a 9-page summary of the league's investigation into sign stealing by the Houston Astros in 2017. Major League Baseball concluded that Astro players and low-level employees participated in a coordinated scheme to steal pitching signs, and it suspended Astros GM Jeff Lonau, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes.
And manager AJ Hinch for a year and took away future draft picks from the Astros. Later that week, the Boston Red Sox parted ways with manager Alex Cora who was named...
He's the mastermind.
He was named 11 times in Manfred's letter. The following Thursday, the scandal deepened. The New York Mets fired manager Carlos Beltran, the only other person named in Manfred's letter after Hinch, Lonau, and Cora. And new allegations emerged that Astros stars Jose Altuve, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes.
And Alex Bergman wore wires and buzzers under their jerseys that would alert them when the pitch was coming. Twitter users had a field day with photos and videos that looked like supporting evidence, and many critics are now calling for the Major League Baseball to issue punishments to the Astros players and potentially vacate the Astros 2017 World Series title.
It's not happening. They already said they're not doing it.
I still want it, but...
And they're not going to do the players because the players got immunity.
Cincinnati Reds pitcher Trevor Bauer knows Major League Baseball is first and foremost a business, and Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred works for 30 team owners. And this is quoting Bauer: If you hammer the Houston Astros organization, that makes their organization worth less, and it makes everybody's organization worth less. It's not good for the business side for all the owners, Bauer told Yahoo Finance. On the player side, it's really hard to prove who used what and when and to what extent. And if I'm an Astros hitter and I go up there and I don't want anything to do with this, but someone is banging a trash can anyway, am I now involved in it? It's really a slippery slope.
Well, first of all, Tuve, the second baseman, he was wearing a transmitter, under his shirt, because you've seen him hit a home run, and it was a walk-off, and when he was coming in...
He was telling them all...
he grabbed his shirt.
And he was telling them not to put the water on him, not to dump him.
Yeah, but he's grabbing like this, don't open my shirt.
Tell the listeners how he's grabbing it.
He was basically saying to the dudes, hey, you'll expose because they'll see everything that's in here. That was number one.
Could also ruin put water on electronics.
Carlos Beltran was the manager of the Mets, but he was a player when this happened, and all players were granted immunity. He never should have got fired. All players were granted immunity. Major League Baseball said, if you tell us the truth, no punishment to you. That's how this whole thing got leaked. Mike Friars, who came to the Tigers, they told them, you tell us everything, nothing happens to you. The Major League Baseball union got involved and said, if they tell the truth, nothing happens to them. Major League Baseball agreed. But that basically left all the managers now up for it, to where AJ Hinch and the general manager for the Astros got fired, not only suspended. The Red Sox dude, he wasn't suspended from the Major League. He just got fired. No, he's the mastermind. and this is all a cheating scandal.
I thought you said the Boston Carvo or
Carlos Beltran was a player for the Astros who was banging the garbage can. He's a player. He should be immune. The Boston Red Sox manager, I can't recall his name. I'm saying the same thing, but it's not. He was a manager on the staff of the Astros, and he masterminded. He was behind. He thought of the whole thing: the camera, the digital, the drumming, the signals, the wire. Him, Alex Cora, that's his name. He was the Red Sox manager. They won it the next year. There's also allegations that the Red Sox use it. They can't prove it because other players will come forward.
Well, there's still an investigation into that.
Yeah, but they're having a hard time getting it to where all the Astros came forward. It's known that it's out there.
So it brings up the question, should the players be immune?
To the what?
Should the players be immune because they participated in the cheating?
Well, here's
if
the
they
problem.
knowingly knew,
If
they knew they were cheating, then
wow, this is two different examples, but almost the same. The Black Sox, they signed immunity. That commissioner banned them for life. They were being used and totally misguided by their lawyers, but still, they signed what they thought was immunity for telling what they did. And it didn't matter. They hired that commissioner, and he suspended them all for life.
Well, then the question then is, was the commissioner right?
Back then or now?
Well, let's do first back then, and then we can talk about it.
I'm going to say
now.
Back then, yeah, it was right.
I agree with
Those
you.
guys were 100% wrong
They
manipulating
damaged the integrity of Major League Baseball. There's no doubt about it. And if you're going to ban Pete Rose for betting on baseball, but not on his team because he was the manager at the time, and it couldn't be proven that he bet on his team to win or lose, but just betting period, and you're going to ban him for life because it was a mark of non-integrity, a black eye to the sport. How is this not? And how is not every one of these players should be banned as well?
Because
under the same reason.
Major League Baseball Player Association didn't go for them and lobby and negotiate and agree. The Major League Baseball agreed.
Regardless.
There you go.
That was a bad agreement. That's pragmatism at its core. The end justifies the means, and the end is getting all this out, and the means is giving them immunity to do it. They should still be banned for life because they did just as bad as the Blackhawks and just as bad as Pete Rose. In my eye, all of them, everyone who was involved should no longer be in Major League Baseball because they caused a really serious scandal that goes to the heart of the integrity of the game. I mean, remember that little kid always saying, say it ain't Sojo? How can you not say that about the Astros?
No, listen, I completely agree. But when you got back then, the Major League Baseball, they didn't have a union back then like they do now. That's the difference. The Black Sox didn't have a union. The Astros do. And the union protected the players by saying, if they give everything, you don't touch them.
That just it demonstrates how bad, how evil the union is in almost every situation.
Fine.
But beside that doesn't mean just because the union protects them doesn't mean they shouldn't be banned.
Major League Baseball's fault for agreeing to it.
That I agree too, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't be banned.
Once they agree to it, what are they going to do? It's over.
That doesn't mean they shouldn't still be banned.
No, they should be, but it's done. They're not going to be. The managers that were concocted the whole deal, they're done. No one's going to hire them again.
Well, Trevor Bauer went on to say that it's a huge black eye for the sport. And to that, I agree. But here's him saying it's a huge black eye for the sport. And I would tend to agree that this is worse than the steroid era. If you've got an individual or many individuals who are on steroids, you still have to compete and hit the ball. You don't know exactly what's coming. And then Los Angeles Dodger pitcher Alex Wood remarked, I would rather face a player who was taking steroids than face a player who knew every pitch was coming.
Don't listen to any of the Dodgers because they're pissed.
It doesn't matter.
Do you know why?
Well, because Houston knocked them out.
They were the ones that lost the World Series because of it. So they're pissed. So they're going to say, absolutely, they're going to say, that's bull. I want, it's all bad. Every other Major League player is basically not.
Wait, it doesn't matter if it's a Dodger or not.
The Dodgers are scorned.
Wait a minute. Is what he said true?
Okay,
regardless.
DJ,
okay, let's say if it was a Tiger that said that.
What does this matter? Because the Major League, the unions had already protected them, so it doesn't matter anymore.
It matters about the integrity of the game.
Integrity's shot. It's gone. It's shot because the Major League Union already protected the players, so it's gone.
That doesn't mean this isn't right. That just so you just throw up your hands and that's it. Okay, it's gone. Let me just carry on.
What
like
do
it
you
was.
do? Because of the union, what do you do? The managers got toasted, but these players, they're not going to do anything. Well, next season they've already said it. They're not doing anything to the players. They're not taking the. They're not,
How long?
They should have vacated the titles.
How
and they
was? You said that wasn't going to happen, but
they did.
How long is this agreement enforced for?
Oh, it's permanent. They can't touch them.
Forever
While they're playing.
See, there was the problem.
They can't suspend.
They never
It
should
was
have made
literally
that agreement.
negotiated by the union.
Agreement.
That immunity. You can't penalize them forever.
I'll give you immunity for a season, and wait a season, and you guys are all banned. I mean, they had to wait a little while for Pete Rose to do the investigation.
What I don't get is,
and then why can't the next commissioner came in and say he gave you like Michael Corleone? I didn't promise you this.
Okay,
I'm going to.
There's your problem. The Black Sox commissioner was just hired while this is all going on, so he could come in. He didn't agree to any deal. Manfred has only been the commissioner for, a year, 2 years now? He's not going anywhere. He made that deal, knowing full well that he's not going to touch those players. So the game is shot. The integrity's shot because of that decision right there. You're correct. Every Astros, the Red Sox and the Astros title should have been vacated. There should be no World Series winners, and all those players should have been banned. But because they didn't, it's over.
See, I also see a problem here with Major League Baseball itself in this, because they didn't have the cojones to call out the players wearing the buzzers. The accusations about the buzzers got loud enough that Major League Baseball responded. The league said it explored wearable devices during the investigation but found no evidence to substantiate it. But after everything that's come out about what the Astros did, the team and players have lost the benefit of the doubt. Bauer says he never saw the buzzers, but he had heard about them before. And this is a quote from Bauer. I don't have any inside knowledge direct to the situation. I've never played for the Astros, but I've heard from 3 independent people, they don't know each other, that this is a real thing, that it happened. And I've been hearing about this for 2 years. Other players have talked about similar things, end quote.
So it's known about that Major League Baseball is not going to do a thing about it.
Well, so this is my question. This is my point of that. It's also not just the players that are cheating. Major League Baseball themselves, the upper echelon of Major League Baseball, they're hurting
I'm willing to bet Manfred and the baseball executives basically don't want another steroid thing going through. So they're trying to, for lack of a better word, sweep this under the rug. Period. That's what they're doing. No big deal. Carry on. Be forgotten about next year.
They didn't want to sweep Pete Rose under the rug. They didn't want to sweep the Blackhawks under the rug, or the Black Sox under the rug. But they want to sweep this.
That's because prior to both those situations, there wasn't the steroid scandal. And like they said, they can't handle a second one. Look, the game's almost dead. The game is almost dead.
Well, look, football, National Football League and probably college football has surpassed it in popularity
now. Taking it over too.
Yeah, but it's still.
I think hockey's more popular than baseball now. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
It could be. I mean, when we were kids, you'd go down the road and you always see someone out playing baseball. Ryan, do you ever see anyone outside playing baseball anymore?
Not anymore. And it's actually in my neighborhood. It's like there's probably like 2 or 3 dimes because there's like a school in where I live, and one of them got paved over basically. Like they put like grass and stuff over it, but I was like, I remember playing baseball there, like as a little kid and stuff. Yeah. So
how many times you drive around and see an actual little league playing? You hardly see that anymore.
Baseball is dying. Rare. There's no doubt about it.
Well, this kills it.
Yes, doesn't this help to also solidify or put it in the grave?
They don't realize it. Manfred and the people who are running it, they don't get it. But yes, it's going to kill it. It's going to just put it into the ground. Baseball, they even said, I think in 10 years, it won't be the same as it is right now as far as the popularity and how it's played. Be more like a minor league type industry or business. That's how bad it's just going down, tanking it. I mean, football, hockey, soccer is taking over. Baseball. Remember back when we were kids, what was number 1?
Well, to me, it was baseball.
It was baseball
all the time.
Well, now it's football, and number 2 is soccer. And it's a close number 3. This is surprising. NBA, basketball. That's almost overtaking soccer. Last year, it had a huge. It was like 20% below soccer, but last year, for some reason, it made a huge gain.
That's not surprising to me. Basketball's been gaining popularity for a long time.
No.
It'd be surprising to me if hockey got up to number 2.
No, when we were kids, basketball was almost dead.
I know. Okay, I'm talking about, but lately, basketball's been on the rise. That's why, to me, it's not that surprising. That's what I meant.
Major League Baseball and basketball have reversed roles. They're almost dead.
Well, they've done it to themselves.
Well, because of this.
And the steroids, yes, absolutely. But see, the players are involved in this, players and coaches. And now Major League Baseball is also exacerbating the problem by just sweeping it under the rug, like you said.
Major League Baseball was involved with steroids. Bud Selig knew about the steroids and said nothing because of what Sosa and Sammy Sosa and Mark Regard were doing. You know how many people were watching that?
Once again, we talked about this in the old podcast. It's because of the strike. The strike had hurt baseball so much.
The point being is
that they had to.
They
do
were
that.
getting recognition, and they
And
didn't want to
justifies
mess with it. And Bud Selig knew they were doing it, but then all of a sudden, years later, he finds out. He turns a whole different thing. Like it says, he's some holy boy, and you can't have that. And now again, that was to save the game. It's been going down ever since the steroids. This is just going to be the icing on the cake. Because I'm not going to watch. I don't trust baseball, especially the Astros. No offense, but I lost all respect for Justin Verlander, especially for what he said at the ESPYs or the Major League Baseball.
No, he got
awards.
the award for the Cy Young,
Award.
and he was given the speech for that. That's what it was.
And then I think our coaches for their technical. You idiot! I want to thank them for their technical coaching. They were great. People were laughing and some were moaning or something. Worst thing you could say. I mean, so again, I've lost all respect for him. I thought he was good, but he was just a part of any other player was.
This is a side issue, but do you think if that happened to the Tigers and he was on the Tigers and they said that, all these Tiger fans would be up in a roar? Or they'd be just happy that they won a championship?
It's no different than the New England Patriots and Tom Brady deflating the balls.
Yes.
It's okay if Tom Brady does it. Any other team does it, heck no. Same thing with Detroit.
We're talking about pragmatism here. It rears its ugly head again.
It'd be even
the
worse
end justifies the means.
Whatever the Lions could do to win, they'd cheat. They'd sell their souls to make the Lions win. That's fans, period. So,
Pragmatism.
yes.
So does it not prove that pragmatism is the dominant trend of our country, the philosophical trend of our country? It's disgusting. And the fact that it's you can see it so much in sports. I mean, if you can see it in sports, it's everywhere. It's in politics. It's probably in most of the households. They just don't care about principles.
It's in the workplace, too.
Yes, see? So it's everywhere. That's so sad. And the problem, if we this is going totally off on a tangent, but it's our educational system. We don't teach kids about principles. We don't. We teach them about wanting something for free and socialism.
Entitlement, what the government owes you.
Entitlement is wanting something for free. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Well, to get back on issue and to give some of the players their chance to speak, Alex Bregman, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, but he's an idiot.
Well, he denied that any of he or his teammates were any devices to help detect where the pitchers were coming. And his quote is, the commissioner came out with a report, MLB did their report, and the Astros did what they did. Bergman said to reporters, also saying allegations of wearing a pitch detector in the buzzer were stupid.
No, see, that's not him denying it. That's him just completely avoiding it. And literally, I don't want to talk about it. They investigate it. Let's move on. It's a whole new season now. I seen the interview. That was live with him. That's why I called him an idiot, because he was just they did their investigation. So the Astros, nothing came about. Players, nope. Let's move on. Next question. He wasn't answering. He wasn't a sympathy. That guy, he was guilty as any one of them. And I think if you looked at his at home. That's what you got to look at. Look at the Astros statistics. Their batting average at home and away. It is unreal, the difference. And Bregman especially. I mean, he had three times the home runs at home.
Well, if they had a system to know the signs, how could they only know it at home but not know it away? Because the signs didn't.
The camera was
didn't
installed at their home stadium, so only they knew where it was at, looking at the catcher and his fingers and signals. They knew the second pitch, fastball, whatever. On the road, they can't put that. That's not their stadium.
So they knew every team.
Single.
They knew every team's. So if they knew a 1 was a fastball and 2 was a curveball,
it took them a while to figure it out.
It?
Correct, because then right after that, you'd hear the banging, or when the banging got obvious and you had rumbling, that's when they went to the transmitter in the chest. Whatever buzzes would be a fastball. Those players, they knew. That's why they were crushing the ball. They knew it was coming. Again, you have to hit it. But to know it's a fastball versus a curveball, it makes it a whole different. You're ready. You're prepared. But again, look at their away numbers.
Do you think it's as bad as steroids?
It's worse. I think it's worse. Again, I think Bauer's right there. I think he's 100% correct. You have to hit the ball with steroids.
You have to hit the ball with this, too.
You don't know what pitch is coming, though. You don't know if it's a curveball or a fastball. There you did. They weren't on steroids. You see how big Bregman is? He's tiny as hell. Same with Altuve. He's no bigger than you and I. He's hitting 30 home runs. Ain't because of steroids. He knows a pitcher's coming, and that's at home. On the road, hardly any home runs. I mean, look at the numbers. Those guys cheated, and they had a good system. And again, when they figured out that the banging of the trash can wasn't working, they put the buzzers on. Now it's all out. You watch what they do this year. You watch what happens this year.
What are you
to
saying?
players.
They're not going to be as good because they can't do it? They can't.
Not at all. They won't know what's coming.
Well,
They're going to be out of sorts.
Do you think Boston did it too and they won? Because it's just so coincidental that he goes over to Boston and then they win the World Series.
Let's put it this way. When they found out they couldn't do it no more, how they do last year?
They didn't make the playoffs.
Last place. Same thing to the Astros this year. I think it's worse than steroids. And these guys will be in the Hall of Fame.
If it's worse than steroids, and they're not allowing Sosa into the Hall of Fame, they're not allowing Mark McGwire in the Hall of Fame because of steroids, none of these guys should make the Hall of Fame either.
That's a baseball writer problem. They shouldn't be voting anyways.
Well, that's true too, but that's a different issue. The point is,
they vote for the Hall of Fame.
I think they all should be banned. Okay, I do think this is worse than steroids because it does give
in today's era of
the
legality. If Manfred came out, even a new commissioner came out and suspended them for life, you'd have the Major League Baseball with their agreements taking it to court, and the courts would uphold it. That's the problem nowadays. You didn't have the courts back of the Black Sox for these injunctions and all this good stuff. Stop it. It'd be a big mess.
I'd find a way around it. You're not suspended, but you can't play.
Again,
I'd find a way around it.
You'd have the Major League Baseball finding a way around that, using whatever it is to stop that get an injunction where you can play. It's ridiculous.
Then, if that's the case, then what's the point of having a commissioner? If they can go and do what you're saying, then what's the point of having a commissioner? If they can block every single thing, and then why would they need that agreement? If they could go to court and get it all changed later, why even enter the agreement? Why don't they just say, no, we don't care?
But this corruptness is, I say, it's the same thing as college basketball. And these Nike paying the coaches to pay the players. It's the same corruptness.
Corruption, yes.
Well, the coaches are corrupt. It's all about the money. It's cheating. And I
think there's a lot of human nature that people are
Memphis
corrupt.
got a good player. The NCAA banned him. The head coach and the family went to the courts. The judge blocked the ban, and that kid got to play. And he was completely illegal, never should have played one game in the NCAA. Now, once the ban was went to court, it got lifted. The kid was suspended, and guess where he's at right now? Getting ready for the NBA. They brought that kid in knowing it was fully illegal. But after the NCAA caught him and said, no, he's not playing, what did they do? Went to the courts. Even though they knew they were wrong, and the court backed them up and actually let the kid play. That same thing would happen here.
Well, it just proves they didn't need to make that agreement. They could have said, no, we're not going to say that to our players and let the chips fall as they may, because they could just go to the courts and get them to make them play.
This is going to kill the league, and let the pieces fall where they may.
I don't know what else to say because it's so disheartening. It makes me not ever want to watch baseball again. Because why? How do you know these other teams aren't pulling this crap? If one get away with it, the next one's going to say, we're going to try that too. I mean, why even bother watching any baseball again because of this?
I told you I wasn't watching. I did this before. I'll do it again.
You got anything to add, Ryan, at all?
It's actually funny you saying this because there was this baseball anime that it came out in 2008, and there's a arc of it where this kind of happens and it's just really funny. So when you guys talking about this, I was like, that just went through my head. So
what happened? What was the result?
I'll shorten this up, but it's like the whole point of the show is they have this pitcher who's like a gangster and he's in all this debt, but he's like really street smart. So he plays baseball, but he knows all these like mind games because it's just like he's not cheating, but they face this one team that do these signal things throughout their stadium with but no one knows it at the time, and there's like this drum that they play for certain plays.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's so weird because like this team
maybe they
keeps
watched
winning.
this anime and got the idea.
Maybe they did. It's interesting. So it's kind of funny. So
yeah, it is
because that came out like 2008. I probably watched it like 2009. So
is this a Japanese anime?
Yeah, I don't even know. It's called 1 ounce. 1 ounce.
I guess that's redundant. All anime is Japanese, but yeah, that's my point. Is it's Japanese.
When you guys brought that up, I was just like, whoa, like just hit me. It's like I saw this, but it wasn't real.
What was the name? So I can go back and watch it.
1 Outs.
1 Out.
Yeah, outs with the S.
1 Outs. How can a singular be a plural?
Well, it's like outs, like
Lone Rangers.
Yeah, but no, if there's one, how can it be outs?
I don't know.
That's just
I don't speak Japanese.
Same thing as the Lone Ranger. How do you pluralize?
lost
a Lone
in
Ranger?
translation.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. If you guys want to get in contact with us, please go to our website at chainsofreasonpodcast.com. You can email us there, get into our social media. I guess we'll end it and this is so appropriate now. How can anyone be enlightened when the truth is so poorly lit?